Good morning. Happy Sabbath. I thought I would make a video about just how my healing journey has been going. And it's been a month now since I fell and broke my pelvis and had a major surgery to attempt to repair that. And so I just wanted to share some of my experience. I know I've made a couple of other videos along the way, but I feel like there's been many things that I haven't shared. And I mean, there's some things that I don't know if I'll ever be able to put into words. Like one of my sisters, when she was here, asked me about my experience when I was like unconscious during the surgery and the days after, when I was just like in and out of it really deep. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to share in English what I experienced in those times. Maybe someday, but today's not that day. Today is about sharing about my experiences with my family and with the medical community that I experienced, and just how I'm doing. So I feel like I'm healing incredibly well. I feel so blessed. I feel so supported and absolutely watched over. And so many people said that. I think because my injury is one that mostly old people experience, like breaking it. And I keep hearing a bee or something. Oh, that's what it is. They're trying to build something in the chime. Okay. That's cool. Maybe I can show it to you when they come back. So, oh yeah, because mostly old people break their pelvis, then like, I feel like the doctors and the medical staff and the physical therapists and the techs, like they all were used to those protocols and those timelines. Like, for example, when we went for our, for my follow-up appointment with the surgeon, like 3 weeks after, maybe it was on June 2nd, so it hadn't quite been a month. But the first thing, like a nurse came in and she was like, okay, we're going to be removing your sutures today. And I was like, they did that like 10 days ago when I was still in the rehab hospital. And she was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to be looking at your incisions today, make sure everything's healing well. And she was like, yep, those are great. Just stuff like that, where I'm like, did you not read my chart before you walked in the room? And I'm not trying to be rude. Like, it's just proof that like I'm healing quicker than is expected, because I'm like not in the right demographic for this injury. And any time that I told anyone what happened, they were just like, what? Like, that's crazy. What a like, just, that's unbelievable. Like, even the paramedic who drove me from the hospital to the rehab center. There was 2 of them. They were both young guys. And the one who like rode with me in the back, he was like, so how did you come to be here, or something like that? And so I told him, and he was like, I knew it, see? And he like turned to the guy who was driving, and he was like, I told you this was going to be the one, because they had seen that there was somebody who had fallen 20 feet off their deck and rolled 15 feet into the forest. And he was like, I knew that was going to be her, because who else breaks their pelvis under 80 or whatever? And so it's just different. And like the physical therapist who first assessed me to see if I could go to the rehab center, like if our insurance would cover it, it had been like 7 days or something since the surgery, not even. And yeah, it hadn't even been, because I had this surgery on a Monday, And it was on like Thursday night when we went into the rehab center. And so he was just like, you can stand already? Oh yeah. Like, you're going to rehab. Like, you don't need to be in the ICU. You don't need to be in the hospital anymore. And I was really grateful. They kept me alive, you know, but I was really grateful to leave the ICU just because they had to take my blood so much. Like, I'm going to have scars on the inside of my elbows, maybe for the rest of my life, because and this one tech who came in, she was like, I need to give your veins a little love tap. And then she was like with her fingers, like tapping the inside of my elbow. And me and my husband just looked at each other like, is this seriously happening right now? It's just so funny. There was just so many things when all you could do is just laugh. Like, okay. Like, there were a couple of times when I woke up and I was like, oh yeah, this is my life now. Like, so yeah, just so many awesome things. But anyway, so I went to, I guess it's been 2 weeks now, almost 2 weeks. I went and got x-rays. So that was the first time that I had seen my injury. Like, they took x-rays several times, I guess, before. So I don't remember any other time getting x-rays except for one time in the hospital when they came in, and it was so excruciating. Like, they made me like move all these different ways, and they didn't really help me position my body, and my husband wasn't there. And so I was like having to try and like move myself and hold myself in these positions. It was so crazy. Like, do you understand what you are doing to me? I know you're trying to help me, but it was so fascinating to see just what they like have to do. So anyway, so I got to see my injury for the first time, and it was so enlightening because there were so many things that were happening to my body that I could feel in my body, that the information that I had received or remembered that I had received wasn't lining up with what I was feeling and experiencing. So I was so grateful to finally see the inside picture through the wonders of modern technology. And the tech who took my pictures, he was like, oh, you have more hardware in here than Home Depot. And I was like, yeah, laugh it up. But I had been feeling this like numb. That's the best way I can describe it. It's not really numb, but it feels different. I'd been experiencing this long, like all the way across, like like about the line of my tailbone, like this long, numb line. And I was like, what is happening? Like, why? But it's because that's where the screw is. There's like this incision right at my hip. And I didn't understand why that was there. I thought that was another, just like a small break where they had put a screw. But no, that's where they put a screw through the entire back of my, like, across my whole bum. And that's the one that could possibly stay there for the rest of my life, which I'm trying to, like, have a positive attitude about. But it just, again, it seems like, okay, like, 95% of the people who have this surgery that I had are above 80 years old. And so they're dealing with that rod in their body for like 10 or 15 years, maybe. They're not going to be, maybe this is making assumptions, but like they're not going to be, playing in the ocean with their children or like climbing a mountain or doing yoga or whatever. And I'm looking at like 60 years with this thing in the back of me. And so I hope that they will at least consider. And one of my sister-in-laws pointed out, like, seriously, like in 10 years, the technology is totally going to change. Like, they're going to be able to come up with something better, but that's going to be stuck in you for the rest of your life? No. Like, and that's the same thing my husband said. He was like, can we be okay with us saying, like, the rod isn't coming out yet? And I was like, okay, I can deal with yet. But the PA who talked to me at the appointment, when I was like, that thing is going to stay in me for the rest of my life, and she was like, well, you don't even feel it. And I was like, excuse you. Like, I do feel it. And I didn't understand what I was feeling. And sorry, the lighting is kind of weird. It's like getting super hot and humid. Like, I can feel my hair starting to curl. Like not cute curl, but like afro curl. Maybe I'm gonna have to move positions. I did this last video too. But, okay, let's see if I can stand it a little longer. But it just seems like they are following the pattern or the protocol of someone who's 80, not someone who's not even 40. And so it's just like, can we consider this coming out? So I also have a bar across the front of my pelvis and 2 screws going back through to the back. And so those are disrupting the movement of my legs and like I think it's disrupting my the normal shape and function of my abdomen as well. It's just so crazy. And she did acknowledge that. The PA was like, okay, and because you're so thin, like, I'm sure you're feeling that across your fascia, like every time I move. I'm like, yep, I'm feeling it every single time that I move. I can just feel this little like rub. And so she was like, so that one will come out. My next appointment is June 30th. And that's when they'll like assess, like, okay, yep, the bones are healing enough. We can take these out. And I can because I'm still supposedly supposed to be like toe touch only on my left. But I'm not putting like a ton of weight on it, but I'm trying to follow the motion of normal walking because it was totally tweaking me out to try and keep my toe like this. And plus, like, I feel like our bones need that tension to grow. You know, like our knees are formed because we crawl. And so, like, I just think like my bones need that. We need opposition in this life, I guess, in this telestial sphere. Yes, and this sun is just like, thank you, sun. I'm grateful for the shade. I'm grateful for the sun, but I'm also grateful for the shade. Okay. Well, and that's the other thing, because she mentioned like, oh yeah, because you're so thin. Like, I've lost more than 12 pounds since the fall, and it's like all muscle mass. Like, I look at my legs and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I am like, when I was in high school running cross country, some of the guys on the team called me a Holocaust survivor, and my legs are starting to look like that, just like the atrophy. I didn't realize like how like solid my quads were, you know, and just I never really considered myself a very muscular person, but I was like a lot of lean muscle, and it's just being eaten away. I mean, I'm trying to eat as much as I can, but yeah. So I also mentioned I'm trying not to put weight on my left, and I think I am going to move. So I had a crazy experience that I did want to share because it was just such amazing learning. I'm going to have to go like this, sorry. So I'm just going to walk across to the other side of the room. Thanks for bearing with me. This is my little walker. It's my little friend, my little helper. And I literally go everywhere. I prefer the walker over the wheelchair. I just feel less of an invalid when I can move myself. Like, someone was like, I asked, oh, can I have my walker so I won't be stuck here? And they were like, ha ha ha. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's kind of funny to be stuck somewhere and not be able to walk or get away. But anyway, so on last Tuesday night, we were outside, we were playing street hockey, and I was either in the wheelchair or I was like standing up at the walker because I can't stay in one position for too long. It just starts hurting more than I care to experience, because I'm not taking that's the other thing, like I totally, you can see my scar here. I might have this scar for the rest of my life too. From when I fell into the forest and got scraped along my face. But I'm not taking, I've been taking maybe 1 dose of ibuprofen or Tylenol every day since last Sunday. I just decided, like, okay, except for Tuesday when I had this experience that I'm about to share. So we were just playing out in the front yard, and Willow was like, our dog, I could say Willow, she was like whining at the door, and she just wanted to be with us because we were outside. And so I got the leash, I used my walker going up the ramp, and I got the leash and brought her out. And so she was just sitting next to me, just watching everyone, whatever. And so I stood up with my walker, because I had been sitting in the wheelchair, and I stood up at my walker to take a video of everyone. So I was holding Willow with my right hand, and I was holding my phone with my left hand, and I was making a video because my mom had started playing street hockey too, and I just thought it was fun. And I saw, and the spirit prompted me, and I saw, out of the corner of my eye, that there was someone starting to walk down our street with a dog. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I went like this with the leash so that I would have a firmer grip on Willow, because she usually wants to interact with another dog who comes. But I didn't pay close enough attention to the warning. It wasn't like, oh, look, there's a dog coming. It was like, watch out, there's a dog coming. And Willow lurched forward, and since I wasn't holding on to my walker at all because I was making the video, she totally pulled me, and I stepped hard on my left foot to try and catch myself, and then stepped again on my right foot really hard, and I was about to go down, and then my husband caught me. I don't even know how he got to me that fast. I think I made a sound probably like, ah, or something, but he was right there, and he caught me before I fell. And I would Willow took off towards the dog, and the owner of the dog picked up the dog, and then I one of the kids was able to get her or whatever, but I just I started shaking, I started crying. Fear isn't an emotion that I experience often. I remember I used to be afraid of stuff, afraid of the dark, or afraid of my children being abducted, or afraid of something happening with my husband, or stuff like that. But I had overcome those things and was standing in faith with them for years and years now. And so I honestly don't remember the last time I had felt fear. Even when I fell, I was just like, okay, this is happening to me. If you watch the other video, I was just absolutely at peace with it, even as it was occurring. But in that moment, I was just wave after wave of fear just racked my body, and I was just shaking, all of my muscles were shaking, and I was just sobbing. And my mom, got all the kids inside, and my husband helped me to sit down in the wheelchair, and then I got in the walker to finish the rest of the way because I couldn't even let him lean me back in the chair to get me inside. I was so afraid of falling. And it was just, that was my rock bottom in this experience. It was so terrifying. And I just cried and was just shaking for, I don't even know how long. So he helped me in, laid down. Luckily, I had already nursed Leah and put her to bed. We were outside playing right before bed. And so he helped me to lay down on my stomach on our bed, and he put the kids to bed. They all came in and gave me a hug, are you okay, Mom? And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And they're like, yeah, sure, I'm sure you'll be fine. But it was just so terrifying. The thought of falling and hurting myself again. It was just I can't, like re-breaking those and just having to go through all the pain or the surgery again or whatever. It was just more than I could bear. And so my husband just so sweetly just helped me to calm down. We listened to some music. He gave me a massage. He set up a steam session for me. So I steamed and like was just able to relax. And we talked through everything. Like I just told him why I had so upset, because he was worried and it did hurt, but that's not why I was crying. I was just making sure there wasn't a bug crawling on me. Oh, I have a funny story to tell about that too. It's already getting kind of long, but I'll tell that story too. Because it's part of this story. But he just talked me through all of it, because we have been, one of the healing practices that we have been using over this past couple of weeks since I've been home is I have this healing questions guide. It's awesome. And when you are experiencing something physical, you can read, and there's all these questions that help you to think through why emotionally or spiritually or energetically, why that might be manifesting in your life. And so I looked up the ones about falling and pelvis and broken bones, and I'm just like, wow. Yep. So we've been talking over, and I feel like it's for us, like the two of us, my husband and I, not only me, because as we talk, things come up for us and we get to heal those things. But anyway, the question for that day, the one that we had just talked about the night before, was like, what can I do to fully step into trusting myself and those around me, like my loved ones? And so we talked about that question, and just like that he had been right there to catch me so that I didn't fall. And so I'll skip back to this other experience. So when I was in the rehab hospital, one of the times that that my husband hadn't been there because he had things that he like had to do, so he couldn't be with me. I was eating lunch, and all of a sudden this huge bug, I mean like almost as long as my finger, came out from under my bed in the rehab hospital. And it was like this nasty, like huge black, like fat, like with these pinchers on the end, like on its face. And it came out from under the bed, and I was just like, hey friend, do you have a message for me? and it was like, life is full of surprises. Be ready for anything. Like this little like, and I was like, okay, yep, I'll be ready for anything. And the next time the tech came in, I was like, there's a huge bug. And he was like, where? And I was like, it's over there. And he was like, what? And he just immediately stamped on it. And I was like, okay, thanks for the message. I'm sorry you died delivering that. Like, talk about killing a messenger. But he was like, that was disgusting. Did you hear that crunch? And I was like, I know. It was really huge. He was like, normally I would have tried to like take a creature outside, but no, that was just no. And I was like, yeah, it was a surprise to me as well. So anyway, when I was laying on the bed and we were talking through all of this, that messenger came to my mind again. And I was like, okay, yeah, life is full of surprises. Be ready for anything. And I remembered what my holy ones had taught me of the difference between preparation and readiness. And just standing in, I am ready for anything that comes into my path. And that whatever it is, I can stand there, I can walk through it, or I can lay there. And I just started laughing, and I had been crying, and so my husband was like, what is it? And so I told him, and so we got to laugh together, and it was just really good. It was just really good processing. But I knew that as soon as we went to sleep, I would be in for a healing time with my holy ones. And sure enough, we turned off the lamp, and as soon as I heard my husband's breath deepen, my holy ones met me where I'm at and gave me a new way for this next time of my life, this next life. Because I really do feel like it is a different life. I was born again, in a different way than I've ever been. I'm getting to walk, learn to walk again. People are helping me to bathe and to eat. I mean, I haven't made any meals in like a month. You know, I'm being literally fed and clothed, bathed, taken care of. And it's so humbling and wonderful to receive that from them and from everyone around me. It's been wonderful, wonderful to me to see love manifest like that in my life. Everyone. Okay, last experience. I love getting to nurse. It's such a gift and a privilege. And I can't walk upstairs or downstairs. So other people have been putting our baby to bed. But on Friday night, I was sitting on the couch nursing her, and she fell asleep. Just seeing her there, so sweet. Just nursing all cuddled up. I just felt so much gratitude to be alive. I'm so grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for the learnings that they give me. I praise God to be here at this time. Thanks for listening. I hope you're well. Shabbat Shalom.